You have like a little black dot.
No, that's my... Oh, I do. No, but don't I have a beauty mark here somewhere?
Yeah, but not that dark. Hey guys, it's Viv.
And G.
Welcome to our channel. So we just finished watching episode 3 of The Bachelor with Peter the Pilot.
And this episode started off with Hannah Ann crying about the situation from last week with Kelsey. And we're so over this situation for sure.
This is we're talking about the champagne situation.
Mm-hmm. Champagne gate.
Yeah.
Her just saying she's not a champagne stealer and all this nonsense. So her and Kelsey kind of talk it out once again. Mm-hmm. I don't really think anything got resolved from that, but
no.
Hopefully that is all in the past. Now this episode really gets started when we have our first one-on-one, and Peter has the one-on-one with Victoria P. And I don't know if we just missed it, but there was like no date card or anything like that. It kind of just went right into it, right?
Yeah, it did. Unless they briefly showed it last week, I don't really remember her getting it.
Yeah. So nonetheless, we have this really good date. I mean, their relationship definitely started to blossom this week.
Yeah, I think they're so cute. I think they have like genuine chemistry with each other. Mm-hmm. And I loved getting to see Victoria, like getting to know more of Victoria. Yeah. I think she's really like honest and just like sincere. I don't know. She's beautiful. Beautiful.
I know. I feel like her stock photo, which you guys will see here, doesn't do it justice for sure.
Right, no.
So this date, Peter takes her to this little country store where they get cowboy boots and all dolled up, and he teaches her some line dancing, saying that him and his friends always go line dancing for fun. Then he takes her actual line dancing.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Very country.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool seeing like Peter nerd out in like his line dancing moves.
I know. That was really cute. Yeah, Peter really seemed to enjoy this date. He even said he may have found his dance partner for life. So he's definitely feeling Victoria for sure.
Peter is smitten. They're both smitten. I think she said that she's smitten for him, and they're really cute.
Yeah.
So now we go to the nighttime part of the date, and it's a super cute bachelor setup. We have, their little table and 3 little planes in the background.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we have to have the planes surrounding them for dinner, just in case we forgot that Peter is a pilot, guys. Come on.
Right.
So in this date, Victoria really opens up to Peter and shows him a different side of her. It's something that we as the viewer kind of got to know on the first episode, a little bit about her family. Yeah. But she opens up to Peter and tells him that she lost her dad very young and that her mom was an addict and she was kind of in and out of shelters with her sister, taking care of her for most of her life. Thankfully, now her mom is sober and things are a lot better for her. Obviously, this was a really heavy date, but it also was a great one for them to connect more and for him to really see who Victoria is and where she came from.
Yeah, and get to know each other on a deeper level. Definitely. And he was just so cute and being so supportive of like just hearing all of that. Like, I mean, because that's gotta be, number one, it's gotta be hard to open up on like the first date.
Yeah.
But then to remember like these people are in front of like a whole camera crew, not forgetting that the entire country is going to be watching.
Right, yeah.
It was nice to see Peter being supportive. And of course, Peter did give Victoria the rose. And then they went into one of the planes and started making out.
Intensely.
Yeah.
So the next day we had a group date with 8 of the women.
Yes, we had Demi from Colton season, who's one of my favorite from Bachelor Nation, come and help with this date.
So she comes into the mansion with these 2 women with these pillows, just, I don't even know, just
banging on the beds to wake up the girls in the mansion.
Yeah. And she gives them these bags for all the girls that are going on the date with their names on it, and they have mostly lingerie. Some girl called it a Miu Miu, but it looks like a onesie.
Essentially, every girl got like PJs to wear, but it ranged from like a grandma gown to like silky, skimpy PJs. And some of the girls were not happy with the grandma gowns.
Yeah. So when the girls get to the date, Demi's there, and it's called Demi's Pillow Fight Club. So there's this little ring that's all set up, and the girls basically are wrestling with pillows.
And like
I don't know.
Like a movie. It was really set up like a movie where the feathers are flying and they're just like...
Yeah. And there was
like
an audience and watching them. It was a little bit...
And there was an old lady there in the mix who was just like in awe. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, it was interesting. And someone that I think was so real on that date was Kelly. She's the attorney, if you guys remember. And she was like, yeah, you know, everyone wants to see their attorney in lingerie in a pillow fight on TV. And I'm like, yeah, like seriously, like people need to remember these are real people with real jobs that are doing
real professionals.
Yeah, that are doing these insane things on TV. So I thought that was really funny, just that little comment that she made, because it kind of brings you back like, wait, these are not just characters on a show. These are real people.
Yeah, and someone who also really enjoyed this date, or at least watching this date, was Peter.
Yeah. So on this date is where we really see the bulk of the drama in this episode begin.
Yes.
With Alea and Sydney.
To what G just said, Sydney and Alea actually fight in the last final round for Peter. And I thought Sydney had it in the bag for a minute, and then Alea just somehow got her in a position where she couldn't get up.
Yep.
And Sydney won. I mean, and Alea won.
As Sydney described it, an elephant sitting on a rat.
I was like, dang, she really just said that on TV.
Yeah. So the night part of the date, we see Alea and Peter have some one-on-one time. This, to me, didn't seem very genuine. She started opening up to Peter, but it seemed very forced to me. She just kind of started blurting things out. And I get that you have minimal time with, you know, the lead, and you need to say as much as you can in that time so they can get to know you.
Right.
But I don't know, just the way she presented it was a little off to me. So I think this part was my favorite part of the night. We see Sydney talking to Alea, and she is just, I don't want to say super passive aggressive, but like I guess that's the best thing.
Yeah, just shooting out questions.
Yeah, to her about her life and about her pageant life, because Sydney really wants to call Alea out, saying, you know, I don't think you're real. I think everything you say is very fake, and
I mean, and her questions were very, like, specific and direct. Like, oh, so you know how to turn it off when you need to turn it off, or you know how to turn it on when the cameras are here, or you know how to get out of answering certain questions. And Alea was just answering. And in that moment, I actually felt like Alea was being...
Like, thought that Sydney was interested in her.
Yeah, and so she was being, like, real, like, oh, yeah, I know how to turn it off, or yeah, I know how to get out of certain questions that I don't want to answer.
Right, because she was this, you know, ex-pageant girl.
Yep.
So, I don't know, I thought that was so funny, and I loved that little conversation that they had, and I just wish, like, Peter was there to see that.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder, like, now, him hopefully watching his own season, just to see how things happen behind the scenes, you know?
Right,
like,
when he's not there.
Wow, like, really, that's what was happening? Like, because I feel like that would, like, help him in his decisions, in all honesty.
Yep. So after Sydney has this discussion with Alea, Peter and Sydney actually have, like, some one-on-one time. And I loved how Sydney brought this up to Peter, because I feel like in the past, with this show and The Bachelorette, people tend to just throw people under the bus, like, oh, G has been fake and not real and blah, blah, blah. Sydney was like, she was so genuine and just very, like, sensitive around the topic. Like, I'm not here to throw anyone under the bus, but I just want you to know that I'm feeling that people are not being genuine and real.
Yeah. She's very good with words.
Yes.
And that's a complete compliment. That's not saying,
No.
you know, that she's manipulative with her words. She's just very good at speaking and connecting with Peter.
Yep.
I think You know, I just think they have a good connection, so she knows how to talk to him, you know? And again, this is a compliment. This isn't in a negative way. So yeah, I think that Peter really appreciated her coming to him saying, you know, I don't think people are here for the right reasons. And he says, he's like, I don't want someone that's fake. He, you know, has seen that happen with Hannah B last season, that she picked someone that wasn't there for the right reasons, and he does not want that to happen to him. So we see Peter come to all the girls at the end of the night.
Yep.
And I didn't love this part. He kind of calls Sydney out saying, you know, it's been brought to my attention that, you know, maybe some of you guys aren't here for the right reasons. And says, you know, Sydney, can you maybe just kind of
elaborate on who or something? Like, tell me who you're talking about.
Peter, that's so awful that you just put her on the spot like that. Like, that's a target on her back now. Or just ask her directly.
Oh, if Peter did that to me, I would have been like...
I was cringing. Like, I was like, really? Like, you're going to make her say it right now?
I know.
So she did end up saying it, and
everyone looked straight at Alea. Like,
Alea didn't even, like, deny anything, you know? So it was like a weird little situation. And then at the end of the night, Sydney ended up getting the group date rose, which I was very happy about because I think that I've liked her more and more as the season has gone on.
I do too.
I don't know, but he is so smitten with Alea, and I don't get it. Like, I don't know.
So the next day, Chris Harrison goes to the mansion and basically tells the girls that they are going to have a pool party with Peter today at the mansion. However, there will not be a cocktail party before the rose ceremony. So they have the day, which is awesome. And it's kind of more of a relaxed environment than the cocktail party.
So when Peter comes in to the mansion, he's very upfront with the girls and says, you know, I'm really not in the best, like, mindset right now. I'm kind of doubting a lot of things, and he ends up pulling Sydney right away. You know, he has a lot of feelings about what's going on. He's very confused, and during his talk with Sydney, he thanks her and says, you know, thank you so much for being someone that I can lean on and someone that I can trust. And I think that their relationship has only been growing since, you know,
I love how much he trusts Sydney. I'm like, wow, like, he really is leaning on her.
I may be jumping the gun with this, but this relationship kind of reminds me of Nick Vile's relationship with Rachel Lindsay, where they were, I don't know, they trusted each other so much and they were just such good friends. And Rachel did make it pretty far in the season, but even after, they're still friends now. And, and they talk like so highly of each other. They're like, yeah, you know. And she says, she's like, I kind of knew I was just like his friend. And I was just kind of like helping him along the journey. I feel like Sydney might turn into that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Right.
But obviously that's not why she's on the show. I don't know.
Right. So after Peter is done talking to Sydney, he does proceed to talk to a couple of the other girls. And they essentially all say the same thing about Alea, which was crazy because I feel like, again, going back to other seasons of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, people are way more vague because they don't want to get involved in the drama. People, I don't know, it's just... This tonight, so many of the girls confirmed what Sydney has been saying.
And I was happy about that because I don't want to target on Sydney's back, you know?
Right, I know.
And it wasn't even just the girls coming to Peter about it. It was also Peter asking the girls for their opinions.
Yeah. You know? I loved that Peter's actually really listening to everyone.
Investigating.
Yeah, kind of. Even though I don't think he should base all of his even though I don't think he should base all of his opinions off of what everyone in the house is saying, but I think it's kind of like important that he does ask what everyone is thinking as well.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to really, really like her a lot. Yeah. But it's kind of one of those things where there's smoke, there's fire. So he should just figure this out at the beginning and not waste his time or waste her time.
Right.
Peter does end up talking to Alea after he talks to all the other girls. And their conversation, I didn't think went that great, but he seemed to think it went awesome. Yeah,
I don't know. It went from him trying to get it out of her almost, but like, what are you trying to get out of her? Like, she's obviously going to be defending herself, but he's like at this low point in the conversation, and then he's like, but I believe you, like, trust me, like, I don't know. It was just really confusing.
Yeah, and she's like, do you believe me? And he's like, yeah, I do believe you. I'm like, ew. Like,
right, it's almost like she's, like, hypnotizing him, right? Because it's like, he comes in there, like, I don't know, and then
I thought he was going to send her home. In that moment,
me too.
I thought I was like, he's sending her home right now.
And then 30 seconds later, it's like, but I believe you. Like,
yeah.
It was weird.
I feel like these pool parties, they always end up with so much drama. And they always, like, end short. That always happens. Mm-hmm. Peter is still confused about this situation, though. He ends up pulling Victoria P., who he really trusts, and says, you know, I appreciate your opinion. I want to know what you're thinking about the situation. And this is where we get this bombshell.
Yes. So, rewind the tape. Victoria was in the pageant world as well as Alea. And apparently they knew each other a little bit in the past. And so when Peter goes to Victoria to ask for her opinion, she opens up on a secret that Alea asked her to keep quiet. And essentially, this is Victoria's side of the story. She says, you know, in total, I probably have spent like a total of 3 hours with her. Not a lot of time, but enough to maybe get to know someone a little. Mm-hmm. And then says, coming into this, Alea asked me to keep quiet on the fact that we knew each other before the show. Mm-hmm. To not tell producers, to not tell anyone that we knew each other. Mm-hmm. Which is a little shady.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I can understand if she doesn't want the producers kind of have them work against each other in some way, because I know they always try to get the storyline. Like, just think about it with Kaylin and Hannah B. Maybe she was nervous about something like that.
Yeah.
But when we get Alea's side of the story, it doesn't seem to be the case. So now Peter confronts Alea about it, and she's like, oh yeah, we were really close. We know each other really well, which is completely different from knowing someone for maybe in a total of 3 hours here and there.
Right.
She said the reasoning that she wanted her to keep that secret was because she thought that they would be disqualified from the competition if they knew each other. What?
I don't know. Alea, to me, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole.
Mm-hmm. Especially because she used the word disqualified. I was just like, oh, remember, these are real people. This is supposed to be for love and for something bigger than a competition. But yeah, I used that word disqualified.
And at this point, Peter's just like kind of over it. He's like, why are you lying? Like, put yourself in my shoes. Like, this doesn't look good.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm trying to. I'm like, no, you're not.
And so that's essentially the pool party. Wasn't much of a party. Now we're at the rose ceremony, and you can definitely tell Peter is way more serious. Mm-hmm. So that's essentially the pool party. Not much of a party. And now we're at the rose ceremony, and Peter is definitely very serious at this point. Mm-hmm. And just as a reminder, at this point, both Victoria's and Sydney have a rose. Mm-hmm.
So as Peter's calling all the girls' names, at one point he has to step aside and he goes to talk to the producers and Chris Harrison, saying how confused he is, he doesn't know what to do, and he's basically talking about Alea. I don't think he uses her name.
I don't think so.
But he's just super confused about the whole situation, and I think one of the producers is like, well, why do you want to keep her? Or something like that. And we don't really get a full answer out of him, but he ends up going back to the girls, and Chris goes up and takes one of the 2 roses that are left and says, okay, this is going to be the final rose tonight. And the girls are just like, oh my God. Like, they're all shook.
And at this point, too, Alea doesn't have a rose.
Right. So the last girl that he ends up picking for the night was McKenna. So this means that Alea and 3 other girls went home tonight.
After the rose ceremony, he is talking to a producer, and he's like, I don't feel right about not giving Alea a rose. I thought I was going to feel good after not giving her the rose and sending her home, and I don't feel good. I don't think I made the right decision. And a part of me is like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Is he going to get her back? Like, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. And we see in the previews for next week, she comes back at some point.
I think Peter just is feeling guilty for believing and listening to the rest of the house.
Yeah.
I think that's where he's just like,
he didn't get a chance to see her for what she really is himself. Right. And that's where that doubt is.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly it. You just hit it on the money. He hasn't seen it. He's literally going based off of what the entire house thinks.
And he should just continue with that and move on. But guys are guys, and they don't always make the best decisions.
And that wraps up the episode tonight.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure that you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you can see every time that we upload a new video.
Yes, and thank you for sticking with us until the end, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
So G and I would love to start shouting out some of our new friends on YouTube. We love to read your comments, and this week's shout out goes to Maria G.
Thank you so much, Maria, for subscribing and supporting us.
Yes, thank you so much. We love your comments.